guys, welcome to the third week of October 2023. This week is going to have a lot to do with the past, okay? There's going to be a lot of themes about a lot of different things from the past that are likely to just be coming up and being sort of like the predominant experiences that we're dealing with as this energy unfolds this week. We have a Sun South node conjunction going on. Mercury's right there as well. People from the past coming back, past conversations, past memories, even like perhaps past unresolved conflicts, things sort of coming full circle, gaining closure or tying up loose ends, or just bringing something to an end, like finally being ready to let go, finally being ready to move on from something. Of course, this could also have to do with past pain, past wounding, but there's a huge relational component of it. Things that we've loved, people that we've loved, friends that we've loved, things that we've treasured, just somehow making their way to like the top of our mind to be released or to be sort of dealt with in the energy this week. Again, this is a very karmic week that we have going on. Very personally transformative, the outcome of the things that play out, but we've got a lot to talk about, you guys. That being said, let's get into it. Let's look at the energy as it's coming together for us Monday and Tuesday this week, October 16th and 17th. What activations are going on, what big transits are happening, and what are things probably going to look like for us in our experience as a result. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Monday, October 16th, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the day, where we are narrating the shift of the ages. And if you guys stick with me till the end of the video, I have also done a collective tarot reading for us as well. I like to tap the energy field from more than one modality whenever I'm doing these energy assessments, just because it gives us sort of, another angle of insight into what's playing out on an energetic level. So there may be some messages in there for you. We're going to do that at the end, but let's get right into the astrology. We're in a big month of energy right now. This October 2023, if you guys have been following along with my work, is probably, one of the most action-oriented and significant months of this whole year for sort of like some big changes, big personal transformations underway. And ultimately, this week of energy has everything to do with facilitating a process of personal transformation, sort of redefining ourselves on a very intimately personal level as well. But the way the energy is facilitating that this week is going to be through endings and also through a huge emphasis on things from the past, conversations about the past, thinking about the past, people from the past experiences, past loves, past treasures, even things that we've really valued from the past friends, past relationships. They're probably going to be holding a very prominent and more significant place than normal in our experience as we go through whatever's unfolding this week. The majority of our conversations and what is happening this week are probably going to have some element of the past kind of intertwined in them somehow. This is also a week where there's a very karmic feel to things. A lot of things of a karmic nature playing out. There could be loss associated with what's going on this week. And, it's just this energy also about endings, moving on, things sort of coming full circle, unfinished business, gaining a resolution, sort of tying up loose ends with things from the past, so there can ultimately be a release from the past as well, so that we can actually begin to really finally move in this new direction and begin redefining ourselves in the context of the North Node currently transiting through the sign of Aries right now, which is indicating, a collective year and a half journey essentially to fulfill some type of personal mission, gain some level of personal self-mastery that maybe has been eluding us up until this point in time in our experience. And that is where everything is ultimately leading, okay? Because that is where the North Node right now, in a conjunction with the Earth, okay? We're about to get into the aspects, but we've got a North Node Earth conjunction that is coloring, a lot of the energy playing out this week, which means that ultimately the things that are happening this week as a result of, therefore, the South Node, always in a polar opposition to the North Node, being in a conjunction with the Sun this week, sun is always in a polar opposition to the earth when we're talking about astrology. So we've got a sun south node conjunction that is going to be bringing up these themes of the past, bringing up this karmic release, bringing up this energy that is, detaching us from things and moving on from things, but also bringing up this like unresolved karma or whatever. But that's the end. That's the release. That's what we're letting go of. The flip side of that, right? What's happening on the ground really and where this is really leading has to do with the North Node in the sign of Aries, moving us forward towards this re-identification with the self and this personal mission and self-mastery on some level in some capacity of our lives. And if you want to take it further and actually apply it to your own chart, wherever you have Aries, whatever house you have Aries in, where the North Node is transiting right now, that is the area where you're going to be like evolving essentially, or gaining a greater understanding of, or learning to work with better in your own life and reality throughout the course. That's where your personal mission is oriented, okay? And wherever you have Libra in your chart, that is the house that you have Libra in, that is, what we're graduating from essentially, especially in the context of images and facades or material possessions or value systems, or some level of like fairness or justice or balance or peace somehow, or relationships or finances. So this is a week, you guys, in a month that is all about major change. We also had this second of 3 major solar eclipse happened with our new moon in the sign of Libra this past weekend. And so that is the energy that we're coming out of right now. Eclipses, of course, also indicate generally endings and beginnings, transformation. This eclipse was in a square to Pluto, which is also a huge indication of change, transformation, death, and rebirth. And then, hot on the heels of this energy, of course, now this week, we've got the Sun South Node conjunction that is coloring, the majority of the energy activations we have going on. Mercury is right there as well. Mercury is an important planet right now because Mercury is in a mutual reception with Venus in Virgo, who is ruling this Libra cycle, okay? And Mercury is coming into conjunction with the sun also. So there's just so much energy right now, and this week specifically, that is tied up in the past, that is tied up in this process of maybe reliving some past experiences or reconnecting with some people from the past somehow. But, I will say, okay, if people, situations from the past do come back up into your experience right now, it's for the purpose of resolving things somehow. Don't think that this is like some type of like permanent energy. This is a transitional energy that's for the purpose of some type of deeper level of personal transformation, okay? So we're not like clinging to, expectations of permanency in terms of, the people, places, experiences, situations from the past that could be coming up right now. Rather, we are understanding that they are acting as some type of catalyst for some type of closure, some type of moving on, some type of graduating from something, moving, like letting go, wrapping something up, okay, preparing us to actually begin this new phase of personal growth, detached from maybe whatever that whole other situation that could be coming up represented in our lives and our experiences up until this point of time. So this energy is transforming and releasing us from old and unresolved dimensions of our relational patterns, okay, or of our relational world that has been on some level creating some type of internal conflict, even if we haven't realized it, or even if we haven't, it hasn't been like a conscious part of our experience. Anything that has just been like not sitting right with us subconsciously as a result of things that have happened in relationships that have maybe been unresolved, or that have in any way been disrupting a sense of like inner peace or inner harmony, be it conscious or not. Like these are the things that are likely like seeping up sort of from the depths this week, making their presence known in terms of us being able to have like a much more conscious interaction and understanding of them. We're gonna also, I will say, be gaining a heightened level of clarity and understanding about a lot of this stuff as well before this week is over. But, in one way or another, it's going to be about ultimately bringing us to this point of endings and moving on from the past somehow. This is the south node of the moon that we're talking about. This is the tail of the dragon. This is like I've said, you know, this is karma. This is release from the things that we have been attached to, or that we have become very comfortable in, or that have been like a fundamental part of our experience. But if we continue to be enmeshed with them like that, or to be identified with them to the same extent, are going to prevent our progress and our growth going forward. And like I said, right now, the North Node, this is the destiny point, okay? If the South Node is karma in the past, the North Node is the destiny point in the future. This is the path of growth. In the sign of Aries, again, we have a personal mission to like gain a greater sense of self-mastery somehow, be the hero in our own story somehow, our own knight in shining armor somehow, our own pioneer somehow, you know, something along our own warrior, okay, something along the Aries Mars archetype. Mars is also about the self. Aries is also the sign of the self, okay? There is a personal evolution that needs to go on, and the transition into that process is whatever we're letting go of now, okay? And of course, like I said, following on the heels of this eclipse, that is exactly what is to be expected. Now, let's talk more specifically about some of the other energy that we have going on. You know, this week is just going to be colored by the South Node energy, okay? But we've got moon aspects playing out simultaneously that are also, you know, probably like interacting with this South Node energy in some interesting ways. Number one, it's probably going to be a very emotional and kind of just like a week we just have some like deep and powerful stuff that is like coming up or going on within us, especially in terms of like our feelings and our emotions, maybe some like intuitions coming through, or some like instinctual stuff. Actually, you know, ever since Sunday, the day after we had our eclipse and our new moon in Libra, that was in the end of Libra, forming a square to Pluto. Shortly after that, the moon left the sign of Libra, entered the sign of Scorpio. If you guys have been following along with the astrology, we recently had Mars enter the sign of Scorpio. Mars is very powerful in the sign of Scorpio, very beginning of the sign of Scorpio right now, forming actually also a trine to Saturn in the very beginning of the sign of Pisces, water sign trine between Mars and Saturn. And then we had the moon coming right there as well, forming a conjunction to Mars and the energy on Sunday, directly following that eclipse. And that's about sort of like as like instinctual and like raw, driven, passionate expression of energy, okay, as we can get, especially in the trine to Saturn. Like honestly, this could give or have been giving quite a ruthless vibe in the energy on Sunday, but also very powerfully regenerative, healing, and transformative as well. The Pluto, Scorpio, Mars feel, you know, as much as it can, you know, really destroy things and sort of burn them to the ground, it's also this super powerfully regenerative force, and it really like heals things to their core as well. So these are sort of the dual octaves that the energy may be like driving or motivating for. And like ultimately, you know, it comes back to healing. It comes back to the purge, the purification, and the regeneration and the renewal ultimately. But a lot of times, you know, there has to be this breakdown period, or there has to be this crumbling when we're dealing with this type of energy as well. And especially, again, like coming out of this eclipse, and in terms of the things that have been, you know, just what is indicated in terms of where we're at in our larger transition of ages right now, and in the cosmic blueprint as it's currently playing out, transitioning us into the age of Aquarius. This energy is taking us very deep this week, okay? Monday and Tuesday as well, we have a Scorpio moon going on, maintaining this powerful emotional energy that we had immediately following the eclipse on Sunday, but now moving into aspect with both Jupiter and Uranus. Now, this is going to supersize emotions, okay? There's probably going to be some type of like element, like I said earlier, of like enhanced awareness, or like an awakening to something, or like some type of revelation, seeing the truth about something, seeing a deeper layer about something, seeing like the opposite side of the coin of something than maybe we're used to thinking about like just gaining a deeper level or a more expanded level of awareness or conscious understanding coming through somehow. But there's also likely to be a very enhanced or increased or expanded like emotional energy playing out simultaneously. The moon in Scorpio opposing Jupiter in Taurus. This is also a very, very stubborn, super stubborn energy, you guys. Scorpio moon with a fixed with opposite Jupiter and Taurus. Like this is a very expansive expression of energy that really like digs its heels into the ground and like stands firm by what it believes in. So don't think you're necessarily going to be like swaying anybody or changing anybody's mind this week. If you find people being like extra stubborn or extra hard-headed, maybe just sort of let it go. People are dealing with a lot of deep internal stuff, okay? And you know, to that same extent, Jupiter expands things. The moon in Scorpio, this is very deep and powerful emotions going on. And then we bring back in, you know, this stuff, the element of the past. We've recently also been going through a lot of Chiron energy. This could be some old wounding or old trauma in regards specifically, you know, relationships or like financial or like self-worth issues going on. But there could be some definitely like overblown emotional reactions and responses to things. Don't be shocked if people kind of spiral out of control in the energy, specifically on Monday, also maybe on Tuesday as well. Tuesday, people could be doing some real weird stuff too. Like Tuesday, it's like people could be like, it's like the past could be getting to them to the extent that people are making some type of like radical shift or like sudden split or sudden ending in the energy for Tuesday. You know, we'll get to it, but there is we have the Jupiter moon opposition on Monday, and then on Tuesday we have a Uranus moon opposition going on as well. And this is, you know, freedom seeking energy, okay? And we're talking about the moon in the sign of Scorpio. This is freedom seeking energy from anything that has been burdening our soul, essentially. So that's sort of what we're moving into as we get into the energy of Tuesday, and the South Node activation like really takes hold. This is a freeing, this is a liberating energy, but it's likely to come through some type of ending, some type of karmic release, or some type of like past situation that is coming back up, so that we can gain some type of necessary insight to move on from it somehow. Now, you know, backing back up to Monday again, with the Jupiter moon opposition, there could also be some sort of like grandiosity going on with people, some sort of like self-righteousness going on with people. Those are the lower octave Jupiter energies that can sort of happen when we've got a moon going on as well, especially, you know, the moon in opposition. But this is also feeling more optimistic, okay? Feeling a bit more hopeful about things. And there is a sense that like everything's going to be okay in the end somehow. Not all is lost, even though we might sort of feel like everything has sort of hit a wall, or like, you know, we've come to the end in a lot of ways. Not all is lost, and we know it again on this like deep soul level when we have the Jupiterian energy playing out in the reflection to the moon. This could also though help us to be gaining a greater understanding of something that's been hidden, okay, with the Scorpio influence and the moon there, truths being exposed. Like I've said, this is also a theme that we have going on this week, not only because of the Jupiter Uranus influence with the moon. Uranus is an awakener, and Jupiter, you know, exposes us to a higher level of understanding or awareness or truth somehow, but we also have a Mercury Sun Cazimi conjunction that is going on later this week as well, which is another opportunity for us to sort of have like a light bulb moment or gain a greater level of understanding into something. Now, what we gain the greater level of understanding into is going to be predominantly whatever past situations are coming up right now, or whatever it is that we are releasing or moving on from, or whatever we're gaining a greater awareness of, so that we can release or move on from something. Okay, so let's get specifically into Tuesday. Oh, and the secrets revealed, the things that this could also have to do with material stuff, money, possessions, partnerships. There could definitely be some things that we're finding out about other people, finding out about the past, finding out about, the nature of relationships, or, things that maybe went on in the past that are just changing things for us somehow as the energy plays out this week. So wanted to mention that as well. But let's specifically move now into the energy of Tuesday. Like I said, on Tuesday, this is the day where we do have the exact Sun South Node conjunction going on. The Sun will move to 25 degrees of the sign of Libra. Right now, we have the North and the South nodes, 25 degrees of Aries and Libra. So we've got an exact conjunction opposition, South Node, North Node going on. And like I said, we also have the Moon transiting Scorpio, forming the opposition to Uranus in the sky. This is the release point, a release point energy, okay, for sure. Reflecting on the need to be free from something, to liberate ourselves from something somehow, attachment, possession, enmeshment, or our old ways of being and relating that have been restricting or blocking our ability to grow authentically in this new direction towards this process of redefining ourselves, like I've been talking about, reacquainting us with like our true potential or our true purpose. Again, anything that would seek to block the trajectory that the North Node is calling us on right now to gain some sense of self-mastery, re-identify with ourselves somehow, this whole journey through Aries vibes, okay, for all of us personally, anything that would seek to block or hinder or restrain that because of attachments that we have from the past, okay, this is what is on the chopping block. Again, like, and especially with the Uranus opposition, the Uranus moon opposition, the sign of Scorpio as well. This is also that has been like, that which has been like chaining our soul, okay, or like suffocating our soul, or like keeping us detached from who it is that we're meant to become and what we've always been meant to do, be, feel, experience, all of that stuff, okay? Especially in terms of relationships or in terms of our perception of self, who we really are versus who we've always been, and the awakening process to that experience of self right now. And it's going to continue to perpetuate over this next year and a half as well. And Mercury, like I said, the messenger planet, like our mind, our thoughts, what we're talking about, the conversations, this is really, really very all tied up in all of this stuff. And that's why I've been really saying, like, it's likely to be dominating a major part of our experience, this whole past energy. And that's because, not only is it the sun, which is like, a really strong vibratory force, okay, when we've got the sun doing stuff that has a tendency of, triggering things to be actually happening in our reality, because it's one of our primary luminaries, right? It's like the life force energy. But it's not just the sun, we've got Mercury right there as well. And Mercury is important right now because, like I said, Mercury is in a mutual reception with Venus, who is ruling this cycle. Mercury is in Virgo, the sign, or Venus, sorry, is in Virgo, the sign ruled by Mercury. So Mercury in Libra, Venus in Virgo, Mercury, Venus, mutual reception, while Mercury's conjuncting the sun and Mercury's conjuncting the South Node. It's, our heart, our mind, and the life force energy are just all tied up in it. And then when we put the moon in the sign of Scorpio, this is the depths of our soul, right? And opposite Uranus, some type of an awakening, some type of a need to make a sudden change, to be released and liberated from something. And again, this Libra energy, all in a square to Pluto, same thing, very like transformative force. And this is like longevity, okay? This is stuff that has been existing for very long periods of time. The secrets revealed in the stuff that comes out in this energy as well, like it could honestly be like ancient. Like this could be like ancient past. This is like also like generational karma. With the Pluto Capricorn energy that's simultaneously going on and the square to all this South Node stuff, like it really is generationally like happening. This is generational curses, generational karma, generational cycles of like wounding and trauma and stuff like that as well. This is cycle breaking energy. That's another thing that I've been like really emphasizing, I feel like, or that's been being emphasized to me coming through an energetic level, which is why I'm emphasizing it to you guys. This like coming to the end of these repeating and perpetuating cycles that have been in any way like blocking us from being able to like come back into a greater remembrance of and embodiment of our own personal power and our own true purpose. Okay, so by the time that we do get to the end of this week, we are, as I said, Mercury will conjunct the sun. We will gain some level of clarity. We will gain some level of higher understanding about the true nature of the things that do come up to start this week. And again, you know, especially in the energy on Tuesday, there could just be, it's like, it's sort of just like the perfect combination of energy for releasing ourselves from something, because we've got the sun in the south node, right? This is the masculine dynamic, and it's the life force energy, the vitality. With the south node, this is an energy about release, okay? And then we've got the moon. This is the feminine energy. This is, you know, the internal life, what's going on within us, and coming into the opposition with Uranus, which is also about like radical liberation. So people could be just suddenly, again, like making like a sudden split or a sudden break or a sudden just like cutting themselves free from something. And it's gonna have to do with things that we feel like are like weighing heavy on our soul as well, with this Scorpio dimension of things. Energy all week about the breakdown, transformation, and changes of self. But in order to do that, there are things that got to go on in the nature of the group relationship context as well. South node energy can be difficult energy. It's about endings, okay? It's about loss. We're also in this immediate eclipse energy about a lot of the same things. But I do want to say, you know, although energy could be low this week, although vitality levels could be low this week, although we may feel, you know, at the end of our rope sort of this week, or it could just be kind of a more like depressing energy that we have going on. Once we make it through this week, okay, our spirits are going to begin to rise, like optimism is going to begin to grow again, and we are going to start feeling better. Once we make it through this week, heading towards the end of October, we're going to have Venus, Mars, Mercury, and the Sun all begin making aspect to Jupiter. This is definitely going to be uplifting us. This is definitely going to be restoring this sense of like hope, optimism, faith, confidence, belief in ourselves and our ability to move forward and our ability to, you know, that everything is going to be okay in the end. And it's going to kind of inspire us to keep going, make us just feel better about life generally. And so it really is all good, okay? Regardless of what is playing out this week, or, you know, just the difficult endings that we may have to navigate in various dimensions of our lives, we are going to be feeling a lot better about things as we move to close this month of October. So we don't want to dwell or get overly attached to whatever feelings of loss or, you know, past sentiments, nostalgia, weakness also could be coming up in this energy, because it's soon going to be replaced with feeling a lot better about ourselves, about life, and about the way things are going in our experience. In terms of the Sabian symbols that we have playing out today, I mean, the nodes have been at these degrees for a while. We've been talking about these degrees in the context of the nodes, and they are ultimately just speaking about like this unescapable transformation as we seek to gain a greater level of understanding, awareness, and, you know, evolution into who we're becoming next and the true nature of our own selves and our own reality, okay? We have the North Node right now at 25 degrees of Aries, the position of the Earth as well. That Sabian symbol is a double promise, reveals its inner and outer meanings. Gaining a greater or a deeper or a just more holistic understanding about things generally, okay? And then the position of the Sun and the South Node in their conjunction, the sight of an autumn leaf brings to the pilgrim the sudden revelations of the mysteries of life and death. So very deep and profound energy, all about death and rebirth, transformation, gaining a sudden awareness about, you know, the course of things, all that has happened, all that's transpired, you know, the cycle of life, where it's brought us to now and what needs to end so that this new phase of growth and development can begin. And then the double promise reveals the inner and outer meanings. This is like the seeing both sides of the coin, gaining the deeper level of awareness, gaining the greater understanding, seeing that which we had been unaware of before, and the impact that that has on who we're becoming and who we're growing into now as we embark on this journey to, you know, personal self-empowerment, redefining self, gaining self-mastery, releasing ourselves from the past dimensions of who we've been through the process. Okay, very deep and significant, very powerful internalized energy heading into the remainder of the month as well. We have a very spiritual, very psychic, very intense vibe going on to close out the month of October. We'll be talking a lot about that as we move through the coming days, but this energy ultimately boils down to, right, this powerful internal experience of maybe awakening or insight, sudden level of understanding coming to us that changes things for us, changes us maybe in our like entirety somehow, or empowers us to redefine ourselves somehow moving forward. So that's how I'm looking at the energy, you guys, coming through to get this week going. Endings, okay, major change and major transformation in group and social dynamics, things from the past definitely coming up, but it's catalytic in our process of who we're becoming next, and you know, the personal evolution that we are going through back into a greater alignment with our authentic truth and our authentic purpose that universe wants us to activate destiny in regards to right now as we're moving into the age of Aquarius, and that's becoming, you know, more important than ever at this point in time. So that's what I'm going to say about the astrology, you guys. Let's get into the tarot cards now. We have repeating themes coming up over and over in the tarot cards. There is a message specifically for today, but we've also like got these greater themes that continue to come up. We're going on the second week now of these same cards and these same themes coming up repeatedly. And to me, that's like, I'm interpreting that as like there's just a kind of like a message that universe is trying to convey right now, like universe speaking. Like, I'm not asking for these additional like this additional information to be conveyed, but it's just kind of continues to be repeating. And so we're going to talk about those greater, larger themes as well. But in terms of like the more basic message that may be, you know, just kind of applying more in specific cases, there's something about being at a point where we're not accepting less anymore than what we feel like we deserve, and we've made our mind up about that. And it's not even necessarily like than what we feel like we deserve, but it's like less than who we're becoming, or the work that we're putting into ourselves, or the values that we are like striving to embody right now. It's like if what you're offering me is not a match for like what I'm putting out, or even more so like what I'm putting into myself. It's like if you're not willing to pour into me the same level that I'm pouring into me, I've kind of like made my mind up that there's no future in that situation. Okay, I'm saying this, I'm drawing these themes because we had these cards come out first today, the Two of Wands in reverse, followed by these two pages, the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Cups, both in reverse. The Two of Wands, you know, this is like thinking about, like, this is like pondering and making choices about what to do next. Like, this is envisioning like the possibilities and the potentials, you know, maybe pondering or strategizing. If I make this choice, what will this outcome be? You know, if I go in this direction, you know, what could that lead to? But with it in reverse, to me, I'm looking at this as sort of like we've kind of made our mind up. Like, we're not really speculating about things. Like, we kind of know, okay, what we're not going to accept. Pages, these are like small offers, okay? These are like initiations about things. And with them both being in reverse, it's like the material offers, like the physical, tangible, you know, maybe like gift, you know, or just like the the material offer, or even the emotional sentiment. It's like if you're not offering enough, either on an emotional or a physical level, I've decided that that's just like not, there's no future in this. You know what I mean? Like that's to me what this combination of cards means. And then continuing on from that, we also had the Eight of Pentacles and the Hierophant come out. The Eight of Pentacles, this is, traditionally about self-mastery, working towards the betterment of the self in some capacity, or just working hard on something, being hard at work on something, but working towards mastering something, okay? And then with the Hierophant there, this is also about like our value systems, like faith, okay? This is like the foundation that like empowers us to feel sort of like secure and that like we hold to. It can also be like I said, like our value systems or like traditions, or just what gives us this sense of like moral stability, like it's our morality and stuff like that as well. It's also our spiritual connection, and it's also this higher power. So when these two specific cards, you know, the Eight of Pentacles and the Hierophant coming out together, to me, this is like working to gain a greater sense of self-mastery in alignment with maybe like a higher purpose or a higher knowing, or again, like our true values systems or values or something like that, okay? And then when we combine these, like I said, it's like not settling for less than what we know that we're worth, or than what we know that we're like worthy of becoming or working towards. It's like the, you know, what I know that the divine image has in store for me. Like if you're not a match for that, or if you're giving me like a small offer that doesn't satisfy that or reflect that in some way, I've decided that there's no longer a decision to be made, not interested in that. So that's really what I feel like the tarot cards, like the more personalized message, is coming out as today. Now, in terms of these greater themes that we have going on, you know, again, the cards on the back of the deck, the sequence of cards we have coming out on the back of the deck, we've got the Tower, the King of Cups, the Four of Wands, the Chariot, the Ten of Swords. There is some type of sudden change that is happening in terms of some authority figure, okay? Or some type of, you know, masculine. Again, I was talking about this in my eclipse video. There appears to be this theme coming through of some type of prominent or dominant or influential, powerful figure, water dominant figure that seems to be coming to an end, no longer being able to move forward, experiencing some type of sudden fall from grace that could be making an impact on sort of like a larger level, or just it could be, you know, in terms of our individual lives as well. But there seems to be some shifting power dynamic as a result of some powerful figure that is facing some type of downfall or coming to an end. Now, additional themes that we have coming out, the Two of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and Temperance. There's a major theme of polarities going on right now. Like something versus something else, or feeling like there needs to be a choice or a decision made, or feeling there needs to be a side picked, like you got to be on one side or the other of something. I don't feel like there's a larger message that is sort of like encapsulating all of this. Like whether you want to apply this to the astrology, or whether you want to apply it to the first dimension of the tarot message or the second layer of the tarot message. It's like choosing sides right now is not necessarily like the way out of the situation. There's a very like faded element and dimension of things going on right now, and there's a lot of polarities and like duplicity, and maybe like things being pitted up against each other, or oppositional like stuff that is happening, where there's like no clear view or no clear vision of like which way is correct or which way is right, or like which side, you know, is justified, okay? But there's a need for temperance. Like, look at, like, we're talking about the Two of Swords, and then we're talking about temperance. Temperance is also has like about things going back and forth. Is about like, you know, pouring between the two cups. But it's about finding a balance, or like finding a harmony, or like the way through the like opposition or the polarity being an ability to like see a greater, gain a greater level of understanding, or see things from, you know, a more like overall perspective. Things coming full circle, things coming back around, things happening in divine timing and divine alignment, but somehow, you know, not choosing a side maybe. Or, you know, temperance is a lot about like alchemy and stuff like that as well, like being able to transmute one thing into another thing. And with this Mars and Scorpio energy going on right now as well, you know, really trying to see the deeper truths into things, and not making a rush to judgment on one side or the other, letting things unfold. I don't know, I just feel like that is gonna be the best way that we can deal with some of the stuff that could be coming up right now as well, based on just the way that these cards are coming out. So lots of information coming through in the tarot right now, but things are happening in a certain way for a certain reason. And it's not our job to choose a side in this energy. It's our job to focus on releasing ourselves from our past patterns that have been keeping us detached from becoming this more aligned and more authentic and purposeful expression of our own selves and our own nature. So that's what I'm going to say about that, you guys. I don't really know, but that's just what's coming through to me. Let's get a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe. What should we keep in mind? What additional guidance can benefit us as we're moving through this energy? Trust. And that also is the temperance energy as well, okay? With the Wheel of Fortune, like things, like I said, are happening in divine alignment, and we need to trust the plans underway right now. And like I said, as we move through the energy of next week and closing out this month of October, it'll become a lot easier to trust the path ahead, okay? Trust also in Him, Psalm 37:5. Trust in God to lead you to the person you need to fulfill your needs. Make certain you are the type of person that person would wish to associate with. Make certain you have defined your needs and desires before you make your request. Remember, all things are possible through God. There's a reorganization going on, you guys, in terms of the social dimensions of our lives. All that is lost, and there is no loss in divine mind, okay? All that is ending right now, all we are moving on from, all that is being released from our experience is happening so that it can actually be replaced with that which is going to be a much more fulfilling and better match for us vibrationally moving forward, that's going to enhance our experience of life. So for all that is ending, you know, for all that might be coming up in this energy, all the past memories and all of that, we need to trust that it's leading us to a place where we're actually going to gain greater happiness than and greater fulfillment than maybe those experiences even brought us in the past. So trust the process, you guys. That's what I'm going to say for today. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys. Share it with your friends if you think that they would enjoy this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. So grateful for all of you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate knowing how this energy is playing out with you in your personal lives. If you're having experiences that match up with what I'm talking about in these videos, please let me know in my comment section below. Love you guys so much. Thank you so much for being here. I also have a Facebook page, or I mean a Facebook group where I post these whiteboards if you're interested in knowing what that all says, and that is in my description box below. And come back with me on Wednesday this week. We will be doing our midweek check-in, taking a look at the energy as it's coming together, bringing us to the middle of the week and heading towards the weekend. On Wednesday, let's see, on Wednesday, that would be the 8th. Oh, on Wednesday, we've got more big energy going on. That is our Mercury South Node exact conjunction. So we could have a lot of news from the past coming up on Wednesday as well. So this past energy is going to be building Monday through the week. So I will be here to talk about it, you guys. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. I will see you then. Have a beautiful start to your week. And until next time, bye guys.